What do you make of A.J. Owens? Tell me your opinion on him.
Love him. Absolutely love him. You care about the diva shit. I don't care at all.
Whoa.
Don't even.
Mean I care
call
about
him A.J. Owens. The guy's put up back-to-back 1,500-yard years. I could care less.
And he's making his true debut here because I think he's really done a great job with Birds 365. I mean, I really do, man. I mean, it sounds younger. It sounds better. There's a great flow that's going back and forth, and I hope you catch the show each and every single morning with the guys. Please hit the like button. Our friend Zander Kraus joins us now here. And let's just start it here, Zander. What'd you make of where these rosters fall with this schedule that came down last night for the Eagles?
My bad, I was muted. I think it's a good schedule for the Eagles, Sills. I really do. There's no defining gauntlet that looks killer for me. I think if you factor out, I know you're saying the Eagles didn't get better, and part of me agrees with that, but if you factor out the collapse, assume the Eagles aren't going to have a catastrophic collapse this year. They're better than a lot of these teams they're going to play. I mean, remember last year, you say they lost to Drew Lock, they lost to the Giants. They also beat Patrick Mahomes. They also beat Josh Allen in overtime. So if you take that team that didn't collapse and you can avoid that this year, and I think they'll be able to do that with better coordinators, I think it's a 13-win team. I think it's a 12 to 13-win team this year.
How do you come to that when it wasn't anything player related, but it was internal? They shot themselves in the foot, not player wise, but organizationally. You make a move at 10-2 with your coordinator, and that you see. Well, let me go back at you then. Sean Desai beats Patrick Mahomes, Josh Allen, Dak Prescott, Matthew Stafford, beats all those teams, and you fire him.
Yeah.
So when you put all that together, Zander, that's internal sabotage.
Yeah, Nick Sirianni. I mean, this is where I agree with you 100%. Nick Sirianni is trash. And this is why I wish they moved on from him last year, because now he's now the big question mark. I'm much more confident in Vic Fangio on the defensive side of the football. And by the way, you and I both know this team does not depend on this defense. They need to be better. They need to get to the middle of the pack. But this team is depending on A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith, Jalen Hurts, Saquon Barkley. We need those guys to take the next step. Now, can Kellen Moore do that? I think that's a big question mark. We'll see. But I'm not sold that they're only going to win 8 or 9 ball games.
Okay, well, tell me, how long do you think that this meshing, when they don't practice a lot, they don't use exhibition football, and they're just going to line up Nakobe Dean in Brazil? You tell me then, how long do you think that takes with new coordinators who are not getting extensive practice time? And Fredo Sirianni likes to kind of call camp. They don't really practice that hard, according to Javon Hargrave and others that have been in there. How long do you think this process will go? Week 1, week 3, 4, 5? How long will it take for these two coordinators, new, again, Kellen Moore and Vic Fangio, to connect with their players?
Well, I think it could take some time, but here's where I like it, Sills. And you'll agree with this. I know you will, because I know how you think about the game of football. If this team starts slow, okay, let's assume they start, like you said, 2-2. I want this team playing their best football when? December and early January going into the playoffs. Last year, we were the Super Bowl champions of September. It didn't mean shit. We were the Super Bowl champs of October. Didn't matter. That's where I like those late home games. Now, I think the crux game that is going to matter the most of any game on the schedule is week 17 when Dallas comes to Philly, because that's a momentum game, right? Like, if Dallas comes into Philly and beats us in week 17, the city's going to be mad. The team's going to be mad. Everybody's going to lose some level of hope. Now, if they win that game, it's momentum in the right direction. I think they can take that and they can ride that wave into the playoffs.
I think the Eagles sweep the Cowboys this year.
I don't.
I just
No, I do
I
not.
just don't see where they're scoring, and I don't see where they're running the ball. I mean, and what's the one issue that look, if you turn Dak into one-dimensional, see, here's where the difference between Philly and Dallas is. Philly's defense, I'm not sold on, and I'll never be sold on until they address it. However,
They've done nothing for us to be sold on it.
But the one thing that they have done, Zander, on offense, they now have added a formidable running back that you don't have to rely on your quarterback, that they can beat you in multiple ways. They can beat you running it. They can beat you throwing it. I don't think Dallas can do that. Dallas is either going to have to get a lead on you, and they're going to have to try to have sustained drives. But I don't see where Dallas is going to be grinding out 10-play drives against the Eagles because they don't have a running game. I mean, they're going to be throwing. It would not shock me if Dak Prescott leads the NFL in passing attempts this year.
Yeah, I agree. The Dallas split to me is less about Dallas and more about it's NFC East. They always play us tough. It's like the Commanders. Last year we went to overtime with Sam Howell. And this
800 yards and almost.
This is when we were winning ball games. Shout out to Philly 500 for checking in.
Let's see what he says here. Oh, man, I wish I could be on today. You're on tomorrow to tell him, Zander. Let him know. I look forward to tomorrow.
I got you, Philly 500. Good stuff. Thanks for checking in,
Good stuff,
brother.
buddy, man. We appreciate that. Zander, we missed the super chat, too. By the way,
did we?
All super chats go to the top. We really appreciate you guys doing that. Thank you guys again. Please hit the like button. You got to prove to me that you can win those last 7 games, and that can lock up your division. The offense will have to carry the defense.
Yeah,
absolutely.
I agree with that.
Here,
yeah.
Zander, let's go into this. So, neutral site, Brazil, September 6th, Packers and Eagles. And let's just start with the obvious. You've got Matt LaFleur and Jordan Love versus Kellen Moore and Wishbone Hurts. Who you got? Who you got in this one?
I got Green Bay. I think Green Bay because I think they have less pressure. I think the Eagles, the expectation of the Eagles, Green Bay, I look at Green Bay as like where the Eagles were when Jalen first made that first year starting. They started 2-5, then they made the playoffs. They got bounced by Tom Brady's Bucks. But everybody was like excited for the year after that because Jalen took a step. They started to win more ball games. I kind of think that's where Green Bay is. They hit their stride late. They got a young quarterback. So it's kind of nobody's going to care if they lose to the Eagles, who are everybody's talking about as a top class of the NFL. Eagles, it's a tough game. It's in Brazil. I just think it's a sleeper game. I think the coordinators aren't up to date yet. I think Green Bay wins that ball game.
I hope they leave Sirianni there. Week 2. Falcons. And it's a Monday Night Football game. It's a short turnaround, believe it or not. That's on the 16th. It's in Philadelphia. Falcons, they got Kirk Cousins. They got the kid Pitts from Florida. But for me, Zander, I don't see the Falcon defense being able to slow down that Eagle offense. And to me, this is going to really come down to Philadelphia ball-controlled football. And to me, they shouldn't throw the ball in this game. Just run it at them. I don't think they could stop the run in this game.
Yeah, I'm not scared of Kirk Cousins on a Monday Night Football. We've gotten him. Haven't we gotten him in the last 2 years on Monday Night Football? And look, I actually am not. I don't fall with all the people who are constantly criticizing Kirk in primetime. I actually think Kirk's a great quarterback. I think Kirk is slightly underrated. I mean, the guy throws for a lot of yards. He's consistent, and
he's won.
Yeah, I just don't see it there. I think the Eagles get the win there. I think they come home. It's Monday Night Football. The link is going to be rocking. I think that's an Eagles win.
I think actually the Falcons are going to win the NFC South. I mean, there's really not a lot of teams out there.
It's not overly it's not a great division this year.
And speaking of that, they turn around and go to New Orleans. Exceptionally difficult place to play. They're good on defense. Dennis Allen sucks as an offensive head coach.
McMullen really likes this New Orleans team.
Me too. And I'm going to tell you this because it's defense. I think John likes defense, and that Olave kid, Alvin Kamara's got a lot to prove. By the way, dude, if you look at Derek Carr's numbers, you go like this. Really? He was that good last year, and he missed 2 ball games, and you're going like, I mean, across the board, he was better than Wishbone last year across the board when it came to passing. There's something about the situational play calling with that head coach. I think they need a new head coach. I got the Eagles winning this football game in a very close one in New Orleans.
Yeah, I haven't beaten the Saints. John really was trying to. He has them splitting those week 3 or 4 games at 1-1, and I don't see. I just don't see it with the Bucs. I don't see it with Baker Mayfield. I know we lost him in the playoffs, but we also crushed him in the regular season last year. And then Saints as well. I think Eagles win both of those games. I look at Tampa as more of a revenge thing there, where you want to get out, you want to get up against that team, you want to beat them into the turf. Now they may be, but they won't. But that's how I see it.
So who's guarding Mike Evans again?
Darius Slay, I guess. I mean, we're playing zone. We're not covering them in man anyway, so you could put anybody. I mean,
so he'll have 200 yards against zone coverage. Is that correct?
Who's covering AJ Brown? I could go the same way.
Antoine Winfield, who they just
okay. Who's covering Devontae Smith? Who's covering Saquon?
Where were the? Oh, that's right. I forgot. AJ was up in Atlantic City up there with the Hoochie Mamas at a boxing event.
Dan, you're not going to try and tell me that the Buccaneers have a better team than the Eagles, are you?
31-9. They blew them out.
They did.
But Zander, you're missing this point here. Where have you upgraded on defense?
You haven't. Yeah, actually, you could argue the other way. I mean, you got rid of Hassan Reddick, who was your best defensive player. James Bradbury is going to be gone.
We'll agree to disagree. I think the Bucs win in Tampa on this one. Then you go into the bye. What's your thoughts on the bye? Do you hate the bye being this early? I hate the bye being this early. I want it around 8, 9, 10, somewhere in there.
It's a nightmare. The bye at week 5 is a nightmare. The only way the bye at week 5 works is if you go on and you win the NFC and you get the first round bye going into the playoffs, which is very unlikely. I mean, I think the Niners, I think the Lions, I think those are the top 2 teams in the NFC, the Niners and the Lions.
Week 6.
I think the Packers could make a push too, Sills.
I think the Packers are going to be right there too. I'm with you.
Yeah.
Week 6. This Browns team is really a scary team. I'll tell you why. It's not just the offensive personnel. It's their defense with Myles Garrett.
Yeah, he's unblockable. Yeah.
The only thing that negates that is Lane and Mulata. Okay? I mean, that's where you kind of stuff that. But they're good at linebacker. They're good in the secondary. They're not that great at safety, but they got Jim Schwartz. You think Jim's going to want to have a little bit of some when he takes on that Eagle team and Howie?
Yeah. That's true. I like Jim Schwartz.
What's Jim Schwartz going to do? He's going to blitz the hell out of Cam Jurgens and Jalen in this game.
Yes, he is. That's a sleeper game, actually. I have the Eagles winning it, and I predicted them to win that. I have them 4-1 through week 6. But
I think
that's a game that could go either way. I think they win that game, but that's a game that could go either way. I do like Stefanski, too. I think he's a solid coach. But then, what has Deshaun Watson done, dude?
I know.
I mean, look. And I was dead wrong because when the rumors were out that the Eagles were interested in Watson, I was the guy that was like, send the house, get the guy. I like Jalen Hurts, but he's unknown.
You were going off of Watson, Houston, though.
He led them to the playoffs. We were all doing playoff win down in Houston, but he just hasn't done shit. I mean, he really hasn't. Maybe they need more masseuses up there in Cleveland or whatever, but he just hasn't done a lot. So I'm going to take the Eagles in Cleveland.
He should have went to New England instead of Cleveland. The owner could have helped him out up there.
Yeah, exactly. Don't forget Brady. That's the only roast that's off limits for Tom.
I actually have the Browns losing this game. It's in Philadelphia, and a close one because if Watson, who was hurt a lot last year, plays like anything he did in Houston, they win that game. I want to see it though. I haven't seen it. I haven't seen Texans Watson yet. Week 7, I think the Giants are the worst team in the NFC. I just think they're terrible. Dimes Jones. Now, look, they did get better with Brian Burns. They've got that kid Thibodeau on the other side. They got a great nose. They're pretty good on defense. You know what I'm saying? But that's not – where are you getting your offense from? I mean, Dimes Jones? Who's running the ball?
Yeah, I don't like anything the Giants have done. Actually, I was a big Dable fan when he was originally hired there. but he hasn't done nothing since he won Coach of the Year. And I think where they messed up, Dan, they committed to Daniel Jones. Once they gave him that contract, it was done and dusted for the New York Giants, and they haven't done anything since, and I don't think they will do anything until they move on from him. He's just not the answer, especially in the modern NFL. Where I do think the NFC East got better as Commanders. I think they have a chance.
I do too.
Yeah,
I do too. Week 8, you're going down to the Bengals. You're going down to Joe Burrow.
This is my Jalen Hurts game, Sills.
Wait a minute. He's going to outplay Burrow.
What did he do versus Buffalo last year? Your boy, Josh Allen.
Play him. He made the play in the fifth
in the
quarter.
Overtime, and they win the ball game. Well,
that guy Josh Allen had 500 yards in total offense by himself. There was nobody else on that team.
I think this is the Jalen Hurts game. I think they beat Cincinnati in Cincinnati for their first win ever in Cincinnati.
No way.
Joe Burrow's coming off a year where he was out too. It's going to take him a second to get going.
They destroyed the Niners, who destroyed the Eagles in their own barn.
Joe Burrow is great, but that organization is trash. Stop.
It surely is. I hate Mike Brown. It's the only owner that I know that has a zipper on his wallet. All right. It's the Dougie game in Philly, Jacksonville, week 9. What do you got? I got Doug winning this.
Do you?
I got Doug winning this game. I think Trevor Lawrence is going to have a great year, and I think they got bigger and better. And I tell you what, that kid Josh Allen can play. I think it's got to be better. They got to get more out of their defense from Walker, not just from Walker and Allen. They've got to get more out of their secondary guys, especially in their corners. But I like the Jags in this game. I'd like Doug Peterson out coaching Fredo Sirianni in this one.
Yeah, Trevor Lawrence has been a big letdown for me, honestly. I thought he was going to be one of those guys that came in and he
this
took
is
off.
It for me too.
Yeah, this is it, my guy. I'm not giving you any more time. And I saw a tweet today. I forget who it was on Twitter. I think it was Mike Tannenbaum. Trevor Lawrence could break the contract that Goff got. I'm not giving him anywhere near that contract. He hasn't done crap down there. I want to see him do more. I think the Eagles win this game. I don't think Jacksonville turns the corner. And I'm a Doug P guy. I just don't think they have. I don't think they have what it takes to turn the corner. That's another crappy franchise.
Remember something though. It's Jacksonville.
Yeah,
you're having Doug and Trevor Lawrence go into a place that doesn't win, that has been trying to put the team in Europe for the last 25 years. I mean, you're asking somebody to go to a place, and Doug hasn't had a losing season since he's been down there, which is remarkable. We're not talking about the Eagle organization or the Packers.
Got hired.
We're talking about the Jags. It's awful here. Here's Prince. Sills is a hypocrite. He said Jalen didn't outplay Mahomes in the Super Bowl, but Josh Allen outplayed him and won the game. That's how you hear things, Prince. It's all good, my friend. Thank you very much. Josh Allen, remember something, Sonny. Josh Allen is the same as Mahomes in a way. You know why? They have dick on their offense. Nothing. You have the best offensive personnel. Not even Zander can debate that. Is there anybody in the NFL that has better players in their offensive huddle than Jalen Hurts?
The Bengals, they don't have a better offensive line, not even close, but they have great skill players. Who else? Who else has really
Niners.
good? The Dolphins, they have tremendous receivers. They just
better O-line?
No, not a better O-line.
The only team that comes close is the Niners.
Yeah, if they keep all those guys together, you could argue that's better than the Eagles with that O-line.
Or as good. I think where the Eagles push forward, Zander, is the O-line.
Let's see. I think AJ's better than Debo, but I think Ayuk is better than Smitty, and I think McCaffrey's better than Saquon. I think Hurts is better than Purdy, but it's a different style. Purdy's the distributor of the football. Jalen is a playmaker. So
Williams is better than Mulata. Kittle's better than Goddard.
Yeah. I think the Niners are the best team, best roster in the NFL.
Yeah. All right. Week 10. Cowboys, Arlington. What do you got here?
I got a loss. I don't think the Eagles are going to play well in Dallas. I think Zander. That's funny.
I got you winning.
No, I don't think so, Sills. I don't think so. I think the Eagles lose in Dallas. It's a
I got you
425 game, which
5-4.
is
What do you have?
surprising, by the way. They don't give Eagles Cowboys a Sunday night game. What's up with that?
Yeah, really. I got you at 5-4. What do you have them at week 10?
Week 10, I have them at 7-2.
Oh,
See, where do we go different from here? The only law.
Big Bill.
Look, I don't even want to. I have a loss in Baltimore and I have a loss in Washington. Those are my last 2 losses. You have them losing to Russell Wilson's Pittsburgh Steelers.
Hold on. I'm at week 10 here. I'm not down there yet. I got it at week 10. I have the Eagles at 5-4.
Yeah, I don't hate that. There's a couple games that are a toss up. Not
yeah,
a toss
because
up,
you're giving
could
them
go
the
either
Bengals.
way. I'm giving the Eagles the benefit of the doubt.
The Bengals and Browns, you're doing that.
Yeah, maybe just Bengals. I don't think the Eagles. I don't think the Browns are the team that the Eagles are.
Okay. So you think you're better than them defensively?
No, I never said that. I said they're the better team.
Hey, I'm just, it's all good. Week 11.
If only the NFL cared about defense as much as Big Sills does.
Hey, man, I'll tell you what. That's a really great comment, too. I'm not, the way I'm looking at it now around the league, Zander, I'm not sure that's that big a priority anymore, having it. Rick, because you're dropping, hey, you're taking out the hip drop tackle. I don't know how you're going to get people on the ground.
We're closer to flag football than we are to the NFL of the 80s and 90s.
Week 11, Commandos in Philly. Thursday night football, Amazon.
That's a win. Come on, the Commanders aren't ready yet. I think they're ascending. I really like the quarterback they picked. I think that kid has a chance to be really good. Remember, you had Herm Edwards on this show who raved about him.
I think he's Randall Cunningham.
Yeah, how quick is it going to take for him to get it? As good as I think he is, I think there's an acclimation period, and I don't think he turns the corner yet. So I have the Eagles winning that game.
I actually have the Eagles winning that game. You're now 6-4 on my record. Week 12. You're actually an underdog with the opening lines against the Rams. In Los Angeles, I have you going down to the LA Rams and Sean McVay and Matthew Stafford with Puka Nacua and also Cooper Kupp in that game.
I have the Eagles winning, but I will say it's more of a toss up there because I think Sean McVay is a great coach. If we lose that game, it's a product of coaching. And Matt Stafford, they have Matt Stafford. I love Stafford. When you have a guy like that, you're never out of any game. He's a very competent quarterback, and Puka Nacua has turned out to be really good. Cooper Kupp, I think that could be a loss, but I have the Eagles winning it. Sunday Night Football, come on, Eagles are going to take over SoFi. That's like one of the funnest road trips for all the Eagles fans. They're already booking tickets. I saw one of our commenters. She booked it's her honeymoon. She's going out to LA. The Eagles are going to take that place over.
SoFi Stadium is a shithole when it comes to the Rams or the Charger fan base. It's a beautiful place.
It's sick.
But,
yeah,
they have no fans in that building.
No, they don't.
Week 13, you're going down to Lamar.
Yeah, I got a loss there.
6-6, according to Big Sills. It's in Baltimore, too.
Okay, wait. Let's pause the season. If they're 6-6, Dan, are we even going to finish with Nick Sirianni? The fan base is going to be going to explode if we're 6-6.
I want to show you something here to this point, though. Oh no, they're going to, dude.
You and John McMullen have the same predictions.
What's that?
He was 6-6 through 12 too.
Here. Let me show you something here, though. Here's your stretch. Browns, Giants, Bengals, Jags, Cowboys, Commanders, Rams, Baltimore. From week 6 to week 13, you have 3 home games in that stretch. Out of those, let me see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 games. Okay, you have 3.
Yeah,
you're home with Jacksonville. You're home with the Browns. And you've got a Commander game at home. The rest of them are on the road. You're in Jersey, Cincinnati, Arlington, Los Angeles, and Baltimore. Not that Baltimore's that high, but you're still on the road. I think that's a pretty good stretch of ball games there. And here's my issue with the Eagles defense. You're not deep. You can't afford any injuries in your
Well,
34.
we're a lot deeper than we were last year, my friend.
Okay,
Listen,
they're
not proven talent, but there's a lot of corners on this roster.
Okay, if Milton Williams goes down, who are you putting in there? Brandon Graham?
I actually
What if
think
Jalen Carter goes down?
Not deep enough. The defensive tackle. I mean, I guess Marlon Tuipulotu. I don't know.
Look how far you fall off the ledge there with that. Like, who are you going with at linebackers if you lose? Dude, Dean's going down.
I know. You're
you
right.
putting
I
in there?
don't like Dean. I'm not a Dean
Hey, dude,
guy.
I hope they re-sign Zach Cunningham, actually.
Yeah, I think they probably will, actually. That's probably a guy that they will bring back. They just do not care about linebacker skills. They really don't, dude. I mean, they couldn't care less. They've proven it over and over again. Maybe they're right. I don't know. I don't think so. You look at all the teams that have been going to the Super Bowl, all the teams, they have great linebackers. Dude, you remember the Super Bowl last year? That game completely changed when Greenlaw went down. It was a whole new ball game after the halftime when he got hurt running off the sideline, ruptured his Achilles. So,
it was the big John Maloix. It was a big Don Maloix. Big Don was there on the sidelines. He dropped the Maloix on the guy.
It was the big Don Maloix.
It's over with there. So McMullen really had them 6-6 here at Baltimore.
Yeah, he had them 6-6 through. Now he had some different losses. He had a Saints loss, and he had the Bengals loss. I think he had a Jacksonville win, a Dallas loss. So he did a little bit different, but he was 6-6, and I told him the same thing. I'm like, look, if they're 6-6, the rest might not even matter because they might blow the thing up. Jeffrey Lurie's not going to be happy.
Panthers in Week 14. It's in Philadelphia. By the way, before you go on, what do you make of Bryce Young? You think he bounces back?
Nah, I don't see it, dude.
Too small.
And I loved him. I loved him in college. I just don't see it. I don't know. I mean, look, I could be wrong. There's a lot of smaller quarterbacks now in the NFL. I just don't see it with him yet. I hope he does. He's also in Carolina where they're not going to give him a great chance. Maybe if he had a cast like this, he could succeed, but he's not, and he doesn't. So
you know what he reminds me of? He reminds me of Charlie Ward. When Ward was at Florida State, he was really a great player, won a national title, lost only one game. Okay, I got you winning that game. I got you losing to the Steelers in Philly.
You had Charlie Ward on the show, didn't you?
Yes.
Yeah, I remember that.
I got you losing to the Steelers. Here's why. They're better. They're spectacular on defense. They can run the ball. They're superior coaches than your guys.
I've never seen mediocrity celebrated more.
You think Vic Fangio's a better coordinator than Mike Tomlin?
I never said that. I just said Mike Tomlin. Look, he's a great coach. I've never seen mediocrity celebrated more. I've had how many years above 500? I don't care about being above 500. You say that about the Eagles all the time. We were above 500 last year. Was that a successful season? That wasn't successful. I don't care about being above 500.
Do me a favor. Pull up one day Mike Tomlin's last wins, like his Wikipedia. Pull up his Wikipedia and look at his one loss since the Super Bowl win in the postseason. And you tell me if that guy's still a Hall of Fame coach in your opinion. How many wins does he have since the Super Bowl versus losses? And you'll go like this.
What year did he win the Super Bowl? Was it 2008?
Oh, it was early. It was
2008. It was 2008.
Like the third year was still Tomlin's guys, really, or Cowher's guys.
Yeah, it was 2008. That's when it was. I'm looking at it right now. And then they won the AFC in 10, too, and ever since then they've been.
I think they're 8-10 in the postseason since that Super Bowl. In the postseason, 8-10.
Yeah, I don't care for that stat.
Look at how the standard has dropped in Pittsburgh a little bit. You used to go.
Man, I'm calling you out. You too. You're the one who's always glazing Mike Tomlin. I'm like, dude, the guy hasn't done anything.
Got a ring. Hey, dude, you got to kiss the Pope's ring when you got a Pope's ring.
I get it. Look, he's got a ring. I like him as a coach. I just will say I don't care about his above 500 record. Now, are they always a competent team? Yes. So will they be better than the Panthers? Obviously, I think they'll be a good matchup for us, but I think the Eagles win that game.
You hear what he said, folks? Are they always a competent team? Are your Eagles always competent?
No. I mean, we won 4 games how many years ago? 4 or 5 years ago.
Or what happened last year? That was incompetence, correct?
Oh, yeah. They still won 11 games.
Imagine that.
Well, that's my point about Tomlin. Last year was a crapshoot, and everybody's
Yeah,
like, "Oh,
fucking
above
Mason
500."
Rudolph. Hey, can you imagine Fredo Sirianni with Mason Rudolph? Holy cow, he would have been screaming in the stands at Lincoln Financial. That guy down in Tampa is my favorite Eagle fan. Hey, Nick, you're done. Yeah. Week 17, the Dallas Cowboys.
This is a must-win game. I'm saying it. This is a must-win game. If the Eagles lose at home to the Cowboys, Week 17, right before the playoffs, they could be 15-0. The fans are going to be pissed. That's a momentum killer. They need to win that game. I think they're going to win that game, though.
Shut up, Flexin. I'm working on it. Tell me that he has to be on every week. What the hell does that mean?
What are the
Why?
fans
Because
saying?
he brings balance? What is that? Okay, I got you winning that too. You're 8-8 in Big Sil's book, and I got you crushing the Giants at the end. I got you 9-8. Let me hear what you got him, Junior.
I got them 13-4. I think it could go 12.
That's a 13-4 defense.
I never said it was a 13-4 defense. I said it's a 13-4 team. Defense isn't the only side of the ball, Junior. You just got done telling me they're the greatest offense in the league.
No. I said, do you think they have the best offense?
Okay, well, top 5. They're certainly top 5.
What'd that get you last year? Top 8.
The team collapsed. All of my predictions are factoring in that I think they're going to avoid a collapse where you lose to teams like the Giants and the Cardinals. If they do that, this conversation's mute anyway. They're going to suck.
Let's effing go, Zander. All right. Got some questions for you now.
All right, let's hear it.
The offseason for the Philadelphia Eagles has been what?
A success. I think a success. You come into the offseason, your defense sucked. I think there was also an emphasis on getting younger. You got that with especially on the back end. Now, we don't know, obviously, how these players are going to pan out, but that's all you can do, right? I mean, you have to draft players. You're never going to know if they're going to be proven commodities. I would have liked to seen them go and target Patrick Surtain to shore it up, but they couldn't. Obviously, that never played out. I like it. I think they did good. I don't think they did enough on defense. I think I would have liked to seen Howie address linebacker or something more on defense, maybe even more line depth than go get Saquon. I wasn't huge on the Saquon signing just because I don't think that's what Jalen Hurts excels at. Like, we paid the quarterback. Well, let's build around him. He doesn't throw to backs, Dan. He doesn't like throwing to backs. He's a +1 guy. He likes to run the ball.
He doesn't like to. You mean he can't?
Can he not? I mean,
hey, Wishbone can't.
It's a 5-yard throw to the side. I mean, come on, dump the ball off. Brady made a living off dumping the ball off.
I get it. By the way, please hit the like button.
Where are we at?
Trying to get to 250 minimum likes. 270 I'd like to get to today. I think we're behind the 8 ball a little bit here today. So let's up that bad puppy here. All right.
Oh, we are. Nobody wants to like the show.
Why?
I'm
Zander's
surprised.
On. All right. Nick Sirianni, in your opinion, is what?
A placeholder. Now, at this point, he's neutered. See, here's the thing. I think that the problem with Nick is they might keep him around because that's what they like. They like the front office, the owner, the GM. They like a guy like that. They like a guy that doesn't win games and say, no, I'm not letting you pick my coordinators. I'm picking my coordinators. Nick's not that guy. Nick is not a confrontational guy, and they like that. So if the coordinators succeed this year, I don't think Vic Fangio if he succeeds, he's going to be here because he's obviously not trying to be a head coach anymore, obviously. I mean, he was at one point, but he's not anymore. He's older. So I think he would stay here if he's successful.
Do you believe
if Kellen succeeds, that's tough because if Kellen succeeds, that means the team succeeds. And if the team succeeds, they're not going to move on from Nick for Kellen.
Yeah, they are. Are you going to move on from another court? By the way, that means Jalen's out if they're 9-8. Absolutely, he's out.
100%. I think it's trouble if we start like Sills and McMullen said at 6-6. I think there's trouble in Philly.
But wait a minute, Zander. So you're going to go down this route again. If Kellen Moore turns this guy into a 4,000-yard passer, they win 12 games, 13 games. He's going to get a head coaching opportunity. You're going to go back on the conveyor belt again of trying to find another coordinator to replace him again. That would be his 5th coordinator in 4 years starting.
I know.
I mean, are you really going to go? Hey, how about this? If you had to do that all over again, would you have fired, even after the Super Bowl, would you have fired Nick and hired Shane?
See, I think it's weird because I don't think the Eagles want what we want. I'm with you where it's like, if the league is an offensive league and your offense is going to succeed and then get hired away no matter what happens, then just make him the play caller, make him the man so he can't go away. Andy Reid, Kyle Shanahan. But I think they like this CEO coach. McMullen. I tried to push with John on Birds 365 about this, and he was like, that's when you're a good team. Losing coaches is part of the gig. And I'm like, well, what if you can avoid it? You know?
Yeah, you know how you avoid it? You avoided having a play calling head coach.
Yeah, I just think that they don't want that. And I don't know, because there is downsides, right? Like, look at Andy Reid's career. It took him a long time, and he even still to this day makes mistakes of game management, controlling the clock. And when you get to the deep in the playoffs, that stuff matters.
Where the league is right now, Zander, all the successful teams pretty much have play calling head coaches to have a fail safe so you don't have so much turnover in coordinator.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, look at Sean McVay. I think Sean McVay is the second best head coach in the league.
Yeah, I think he's right there. He could even be.
He's right there with Andy.
Yeah, he's good,
okay.
man. By the way, Sills, did you see that video they put out of him where he's recalling all the things from the last? He is tremendous, man.
He did that you know where he got that from? He used to be a ball boy in Tampa for John Gruden. His grandfather is John McVay, and it's kind of nepotism thing. But here's how he did it. He went to work for John as a ball boy. He was with the Bucks, and then he got to be a quality control guy. So you know what John did? Because John was this before he got a job in Philly as OC. He put him in there, and this guy's cutting down film 1st and 3, 1st and 4, 1st and 5. He's looking at all the plays. He got done with it so fast. John goes, why don't you start cutting up old games from years ago? So he goes back like 30, 40 years. He's cutting plays up of Kurt Warner and The Greatest Show on Turf, and he's cutting that game film down. And you know who does that too? Andy does that. Andy will take a 1964 play.
Andy will pull a play out of a random thing. Yeah, that's true. I love when Andy does that. He burnt us with that, by the way, on in the Super Bowl, back to back drives.
How about that crazy play he had at the end of the ball game here? What do you make of the new coordinators that they've hired? Vic Fangio and Kellen Moore. Who are you more comfortable with?
Well, I like Vic. I don't. Here's the problem. I like Vic. I like the presence. I like the maturity. I like the experience. But I hate the defense. I've always hated the defense. I don't like bend but don't break. I would much rather have a more aggressive defense. But the Eagles aren't going that way. They don't want to go that way. I think they've shown that in their last 3 defensive coordinator hires. But I think it's an improvement. I think it'll be better. Hopefully he can get the most out of the guys you're drafting. Me and John did a long defensive breakdown earlier this week. Got tons of hits on YouTube. Everybody was great in the comment section talking about it, but I don't like the style, but we'll see. And then from Kellen, I like it because I think he's going to force Jalen. He's going to force Jalen's hand in that if Jalen is going to be a better passer in the NFL, it's going to be sink or swim in Kellen's offense. Kellen throws the ball too much. He moves the ball around. He gets the ball to different playmakers. It's not going to be the A.J. Brown show. So from that perspective, I think it's going to force Jalen to be better. Now, the power struggle is going to be weird because I know you criticize Nick Sirianni, but put yourself in his shoes for a second. You're the head coach for 3 years. Your playoffs all 3 years. You went to the Super Bowl. You have a well in the green winning record. Like, you're not just going to be like, okay, Kellen, take over my offense. Like, there's a human element to that where it's like I wouldn't come on this show and be like, okay, this is my show now. No, like you'd be like, yeah, this. I think
Kellen knows, and I think Kellen knows, Zander, in that press conference. if you heard that subtle comment when he was asked, maybe it was John that even asked it, where he goes, how are you going to take a little bit of what they've done from a year ago in the
John
past
asked about the
and
motion.
what
But no,
you're
I
going
heard
to
that
do?
question. Yeah.
You know what he said? He goes, well, we're not just going to abandon the language and the things that Nick has put in here. I thought that was strategically done brilliant by Kellen, because you know what Kellen's doing? He's not, some coordinators would do that, come in and shut your ass out of it. Like Vic's not going to listen to a lot of people because he didn't do it in Miami. And that was the rub that he had with Mike down there, was that that's not who that guy is. Kellen kind of knows, the game. How you doing? The game. Hey, they want him. He knows the game.
Yeah.
That's why he's more apt to become a head football coach, because he knows he's got to give a little to get a lot.
Yeah, but is the game a losing game? Like, if he's a competent offensive coordinator, if he's as good as we're hoping he is, give him autonomy of the offense. Like, if he's great, he'll naturally work in what worked here in the past.
Nick is a great coach, he'll let him coach.
Yeah, but Nick is gonna, and you almost have to. It's obvious why he's gonna do it. He's gonna be protective. He knows that if this doesn't work, he's gone.
Oh yeah.
So he's not just gonna be like, okay, take it over. And then if he does that, what the heck is Nick doing?
Even if it does work, he may be still thinking.
See, this is where I think you're wrong. I don't think Jeffrey Lurie would make it this. If the Eagles, let's just say they go 12-5 and the offense looks great, Jalen Hurts has a good year, he's back in the MVP conversation or somewhere up there.
You're gonna let him walk out the door?
I'm with you. I wouldn't, but I think the Eagles would. I really do.
Yeah, because of the way they look at coaches and their history of looking at.
Yeah, but can't you see Kellen Moore being a lapdog for him too? He would too.
I think that's why
he was a lapdog for Nick in the press conference.
I think that's why the guy in DC didn't get the offensive coordinator job, Cliff Kingsbury, and they gave it to Kellen. I think Kellen they had a deal on the table.
That's a perfect example, because, by the way, Cliff Kingsbury, he fits Jalen Hurts better than Kellen Moore does.
No question. No, but here's where I think Kellen helps Jalen a lot. And it's subtle. It's in movement. There's a lot of movement in Kellen Moore's offense, which means motion. Get this, if I'm a coordinator, Zander, and I've got Jalen Hurts across from me, and I'm looking at Jalen Hurts 2022, I'm not getting deep in my drop doing this. Man, 3rd and 11, this guy is a bitch to get on the ground. But when you took that element away, you took the element of surprise away, I knew exactly what he was going to do. He's throwing to the numbers. He's throwing to one of the two receivers. There were only 36 catches out of the 3-hole. There's no backs catching anything. I thought they never utilized DeAndre Swift enough in the passing game last year, enough to be able to take, if you're going to take the RPO out, you took the element of surprise. But when you put motion back in, now I have to do this. Shit, okay. Because now I got to slide my defense, and that's going to help the kid. My question will be, will Jalen be able to use that motion movement? Will he be able to understand it in the pocket on how it moves the safety and the strong safety and over the top cover too? So to me, that's going to come down to that. So,
well, this is my concern about specifically what you just said, because everybody was criticizing Brian Johnson and Nick Sirianni for exactly what you just talked about. There was no motion. Well, if you go back to Shane Steichen, they were bottom 10 or bottom 8 in motion as well under him. Does Jalen Hurts not want the motion? Like, is it confusing him? That's what I'm looking out for, because if Kellen Moore's not using motion, it's not because of Kellen Moore.
Correct. It's because Jalen can't pick it up.
Right. So that's actually a concern I have, and something I'm looking out for going into the year is maybe this wasn't Nick Sirianni who didn't want any motion, or Brian Johnson. Maybe it's the quarterback who's like, I'm flustered. I'm trying to pick up blitzes. I'm trying to get the ball, and I don't want more things happening behind the line of scrimmage.
Come on, Wishbone. Let's go. Let's go, Wishbone. You got to, in the NFL, got to read them defenses, son. You can't. Hey, when I hear Jason Kelsey turning around going, the blitz is coming in the A gap, and he can't pick it up, That's a problem for
It's
me.
a big problem. And there's no
What do you
doubt.
think what do you think, how big of an impact is that going to be not having him out there?
I think it's huge. I think it's underrated. Let me just say to Prince, they did it in 22, but they were bottom 8. I think they were bottom 8 in the league, Prince. So still not a lot is my point. But no, I think it's a big problem. I really do, Sills. You know, I'm looking for this off. I'm looking for Jalen Hurts to be better. I really am. My 13 wins is dependent on my man Jalen to take a step forward. Now remember, when I was a freshman in college, Big Sills, a freshman, I just walk on campus. I'm pumped.
He's big Zander.
I went down to Jerry's World for the home opener or the season opener for Alabama. They played USC. Jalen Hurts was the freshman. He was not supposed to play that game. It was supposed to be Blake Barnett or I forget who it was. Here comes freshman Jalen Hurts, rolls out, drops 52 on these dudes, and we win 52-6. I walk out of Dallas. I'm like, hell yeah, roll tide, baby. Jalen Hurts is in. So I've loved Jalen for a long time, but I am looking for him to take that next step. And if he doesn't, clock is ticking, my man.
Please hit the like button, guys. Appreciate it. We're trying to get to 250 likes, my friends. You're upping it. I like it. All right. Let's stay there. Wishbone Hurts. $4,000, 300 passing yards. I threw a stat at Zander prior to the show opening. The guy who has led the NFL in rushing touchdowns has been Wishbone over Derrick Henry. Speaking of Bama, 38 touchdown runs, 35 for Henry. Austin Eckler for the Chargers has 30. Joe Mixon now with the Texans has 29. James Conner with the Cardinals has 29. And Jonathan Taylor with the Colts is 29. Funny, I don't see any other quarterbacks on that list, but your big guy here, Wishbone Hurts. Danielson, Zander about to run you out of a job. I want him to.
I don't care. I don't care that Jalen Hurts has a lot of rushing touchdowns.
Really, because it's insignificant.
It is, which is why I don't care about it. Make the offense great, and you could have 50 or 0 rushing touchdowns. Doesn't bother me as long as the offense is top 5.
Do you think he is a top 10 quarterback?
Let's see. I think Mahomes, Burrow, Lamar are the
Say
three.
It.
Huh?
The guy in Buffalo. Say it.
Josh Allen, absolutely. 100%. I'm with you. Come on.
Where are you with Purdy?
I like Purdy. I think I like Purdy more than most people like Purdy. You know why I like Purdy? Because Purdy knows his job and he does it effectively. Like, he drops back. He's got that ball for 1 second. He got McCaffrey, Ayuk, Debo. Get it to one of them dudes. Part of me wishes Jalen Hurts did that a little more. But Jalen loves his athleticism and his playmaking ability, which I'm not going to knock him for. He is great at it. It's part of what's made him effective in the league.
I think they're the same people. They're just different.
You
they
mean
got a lot of talent?
You mean same people talent-wise?
No. I think they're completely different talent-wise, but they do the same thing. They utilize the people they have in their offense. They know that it's not about them.
Jalen did it more, though.
Around them.
Dude, I wish Jalen did it more. Now, I'm not going to knock because I think Jalen is a lot better of a playmaker than Purdy is, but Purdy knows, like, this offense ain't about me, man. This offense is about getting the ball to those guys. I wish Jalen did that a little more, and I'd love to see him do it with Saquon Barkley. Like, everybody keeps, like, comparing Saquon as Christian McCaffrey and their use. I'm like, dude, it's not happening. It's not happening.
They're kind. I get where people look at the skill set, but they're not talent-wise in the room.
And the offense, Dan, Jalen doesn't use the running backs like that. He just doesn't. He would prefer to take off and run and pick up the 8 yards if it's open. And part of that is what's made him good, but part of me wonders how long it's going to last and how much better they could be if, you know, he took what was given to him a little bit every once in a while. I'm not asking you to be Tom Brady, the dump-off king, but I am asking you to maybe, you know, slow it down, get to the next play, get the ball, take what the defense is giving you, and, you know, get to the next down. Get to the next possession. Get to the sticks. Get another first down. I don't need a deep ball to AJ, or I don't need, you know, you running to make every play. So I'd like to see more of that from Hurts, but I just don't know if he's going to do it. part of me can't knock him though, because if I was that talented and I had that athleticism, I'd probably think I was going to march up the field too.
What do you think of him as a leader?
I'm mixed on it. Here's where I'm mixed on it. When they were down the stretch last year, I did not like it. Like they showed, and the NFL Network recently replayed our playoff game versus the Bucs. Oh my goodness. Don't rewatch that, Sills. You'll be on a tear for a week. But it was ugly, man. Like when they pan to him on the sidelines, he's sitting there. Now, when they're winning, and this is where I agree with McMullen, like when they're winning, everyone's like, okay, it's great. It's great. But when they're losing, it's not. And here's where I'm like, well, different times call for you to be a different leader. Just like not everything is the same. Like I can't just be the same guy in every circumstance because that's not how it works. Like if I'm losing, I might need to be different than if I'm winning. So I would like to see him potentially expand his leadership. Like I don't always want you to be mopey, but I also don't want him to be non-genuine. Like that's not Philly. That's not real. Like I want you to be Jalen Hurts, but hey man, if they need you to step up and they need you to get under somebody's ass and light a fire, do it.
It's almost like the organization doesn't want him though to do that, because when he made that comment, and I was like this after the Jets game, I loved him going, hey, we got guys in our locker room that aren't on the same page. And all of a sudden you've got the propaganda machine over there with the Eagles at NovaCare, making the kid walk back. He goes, oh, this is what I really meant, and I'm going,
who did that?
Man, let the guy, maybe that's what Lori meant when he said,
be more genuine. You know who told Jalen, don't be saying that.
Oh, yeah.
BL, Bob Lang.
He did, because he didn't want to have criticism with the coaches in the front office. All right, let's do this now. What do you make of A.J. Owens? Tell me your opinion on him.
Love him. Absolutely love him. You care about the diva shit. I don't care at all.
Whoa.
Don't even.
I care
about
him
A.J. Owens. The guy's put up back-to-back 1,500-yard years. I could care less. And this is one other thing I got.
Wait a minute. Can we got to get my money? How come everybody else is getting my money?
I have a bone to pick with you. I got a bone to pick. You ready?
Yeah, please.
So A.J. Brown puts up 1,500 plus.
Gets $3,000 in 2 years.
Gets 30 million plus. Devontae Smith puts up 1,000 plus back to back. Gets 25 million.
Thank you, Brian
Why
Johnson.
Does Jalen Hurts suck?
Thank you, Brian Johnson.
Football.
Thank you, Brian Johnson.
You keep putting it on Brian Johnson. That's
wait a minute.
Selective.
How come everybody got paid? Jalen sucked. Everyone got paid. Who are you giving it to? Jalen? Jalen can't throw for 3,900 yards.
Brian Johnson didn't throw the ball to A.J. Brown.
He threw for 3,900 yards. Holy shit. Dude, this is the NFL, not the whack. Okay? I want a guy to throw for 4,600 yards, man. How come Tagovailoa can throw for 40?
You can't come on here.
4,600.
This is where I know you know this. You can't bash Jalen and then in the same breath give Brian Johnson and AJ and Devontae all their numbers are from Brian Johnson. Come on, Dan. You know that's.
Wait a minute. Jalen Hurts was second in the NFL in turnovers. He can't throw for 3,900 yards in 22. In 20, he can't pass 23 touchdown passes a season.
You're too focused on yards.
This guy's mediocre. There's a better chance that Wishbone can lead the NFL in rushing touchdowns than passing touchdowns.
Well, here's where I agree. I don't really care what Jalen does in the rushing game other than it affects defenses. But whether Jalen throws for 3,850 or 4,100, I could give a crap.
You know what it comes down to? All kidding aside, he can throw for 22 touchdowns like he did in 22. Just have 5 turnovers. You have 5 turnovers, you're in the NFC title game. This is more about the turnovers being down. Hey, all kidding aside, this is more about the turnovers being down than the touchdown numbers being up.
Well, see, and that's what you're saying now is part of the reason I have them win in 13 games. I know it is a little homerish. Okay, it's a little homerish. I'm an Eagle fan. It's a little homerish, but
no,
they collapsed at the end of the year. Like if Jalen just doesn't forget being better. Forget it. Say Jalen is the same quarterback. He goes from 17, 20 turnovers to 5. They probably win 3 of those 7 games.
Yeah.
So that's where I'm like, look, this is still a great team. They got a lot of great pieces. They got a lot. Now, their defense is suspect, but I don't know, man. I'm starting to wonder, like, do you even need a defense in the end? They
So
probably
do you
got
think
rid of
you
the
just
hip
have to be decent?
The NFL doesn't care about defense.
So do you
and
think
that's
you just
why
have to
Howie
be
does it.
decent on defense?
Yeah, and I think Vic will get them to decent. I don't think he's going to get them top 10. Part of me wonders, like, I don't even think the Eagles want to be top 10.
I've got my Zander glasses on, so I've got to make sure I clean them up a little bit here. Hang on for a minute. I gotta clean this the Zander glasses up because these are a Homer Eagle glasses here. So let me put them back on here. Let me go here. Dallas Cowboys do what in 2024?
I think they go backwards. I think they take a significant step backwards. Here's what I don't get, because look, I hate the Cowboys, and I'm not a Cowboys guy. Obviously, I'm an Eagles fan.
By the
But
way,
I've
maybe
never
take
been
the
like
helmet off the wall.
Eagles fan where I'm like, oh, the Cowboys suck. Like they're always a competent team. They always win ball games. They always play us tough. But dude, you got Dak Prescott on an expiring contract. You got CeeDee Lamb, who hasn't been paid yet. You got Micah Parsons, who hasn't been paid yet. Like, there's also a human element in that room. And this is where I think the Eagles ownership really does it right. Like, what are they all thinking? We're the 3 stars of this team, and none of us have gotten our money. Meanwhile, over in Philadelphia, you put up 5 good games and you're getting the bag. Like, there's a human element, like, where I wonder, like, is Dak Prescott, is CeeDee Lamb, are they going to be taking games off? Are they going to be not motivated to play this year? Are they going to be waiting to get the free agency to be able to sign the max contract somewhere else? I don't know. I think that's something that's hanging over the Cowboys. And I think Cowboys fans would admit that. They're probably wondering what is Jerry doing? Like, it's not like he doesn't have the cash, but I think they take a step back, but I don't think they'll be back long. I think they'll turn it around quick.
Hey, let's put up Prince's super chat here. Sills is delusional. Of course I am. Bro, he will always say they were bad in situational play calling. That's Jalen's fault too, which one is it, Sills? It's both. Why can't he check out of that shit? If a guy puts you in why can't he do this then, Prince? If that guy who you think is incompetent and Brian Johnson puts you in a play that you think is not worthy of being in that play, why does the quarterback say, go ahead, shoot me in the back of the head anyway? Why would you not, as a leader in that huddle, go, okay, I don't feel that play. I think we'd be better off handing it off or maybe even punting, and let's play again for another sequence and play field position. Why do you, according to Prince, what his attitude is, well, if they call bad plays situationally, Jalen should follow along and derail his season. I don't subscribe to that. That's leadership in the huddle.
I agree. This is where I agree with you, where, look, I'm not ready to say that Jalen is not the answer 100%, but he has to be better. Like, and I think fans who don't say that are, come on, man, you're lying to yourself. Like, if Jalen Hurts is better, you know what that means? That means we're going to be a significant contender for the Super Bowl. Like, we should all want Jalen Hurts to take a massive step forward. Whether he will, I don't know. I'm hoping for it, and I think everybody should hope for it. I don't think that's a bad thing to say at all.
2022, this guy was really wonderful and great, and it's 22 games ago, guys. Nice, Sills. And Zander. Heck yeah. Yo, Zander, give me a hail to the Commanders one time.
I got James. He wants me to give him some love for the Commanders. No, but I will give you love, James. I appreciate you being here. You're always loyal to the channel, so we appreciate it.
Jesus criminy, man. This is great. Okay, a couple last questions for you here. NFC East will be one of the top divisions, yes or no?
No.
You don't think the Commanders will be good?
I think they'll be good. I think, like I said, I think they're going to take a big step forward, but I think they need another year. Right? I think they're a year out from being a significant contender. I think they're a 7 to 9 win club this year. somewhere in that range.
Forte goes 4,000 yards to win a Super Bowl is a myth.
I would agree.
Okay.
Who cares?
What can you name me one guy who's won a Super Bowl that hasn't gone for that?
Yeah, but it's all it's all relative. Where it's like
nobody throws for 30. Look, the guy in Baltimore is not going to win.
Jalen throws for 3,900 or 4,100. You think that makes a difference on whether they go to the Super Bowl or not? Win the games when they come. Play the games when they come. If one game calls for you to throw 400, you better throw for 400.
Once again,
Brady won a Super Bowl with 180 pass yards, Dan.
Once again, I will tell you this, and I will hopefully, Junior, get through to you with this, okay? 2022 Jalen Hurts is a weapon. If you're trying to make Jalen Hurts into a pocket passer and redefine him from the 23 season, you're going nowhere. Okay? He's not going to improve enough to beat Burrow.
Okay, well, let me ask you this then. Is Jalen Hurts right now, take out his running abilities, take out the run game, is he as competent of a passer as Brock Purdy?
No.
You don't think so?
Guy threw for the least amount of attempts, highest volume of pass average in yards, 4,200 yards passing, 70% completion percentage, and threw for over 30 touchdowns. He had the same personnel and put up better and bigger numbers from the pocket.
That's because he used them. So, like, I want Jalen to use them.
You just asked me who I thought was better and more competent. That's more competent because he knows how to use his tools around him. And something else plays a factor, Zander. Kyle knows what he's doing.
Kyle, boy, that guy can scheme up a play, can he?
Yeah, well, he needs 4 more quarters to finish it off, though, man. You can't keep dropping that game. You know what I mean?
I know. Well, I don't need Jalen Hurts to be Josh Allen and with his abilities to throw the football. I want him to channel some of Brock Purdy. I don't need I know he can throw the ball. I know he can get the ball to his receivers. They're running up yards. But use them when you need to use them at the right times. Don't be afraid to drop back and get rid of the ball immediately. Don't always try and find the play. Now you got Saquon Barkley in the back, man. Dan, I don't know how they're going to use him. I'm
do this.
I'm optimistic on Barkley, but I'm nervous from the perspective of Jalen is not going to use him properly.
Or Kellen. And here.
I don't think it will be Kellen. Come on.
Watch this.
Kellen would love to use Saquon Barkley.
Here's the last point here. Okay. It's a great point, actually, that you just made. So, is A.J. Owens all of a sudden in a ball game where they're giving the ball 12 times in the passing game to your boy Barkley, and all of a sudden he gets 7 more catches, and this guy, and there you have over there, you have this guy's whining if he's making 25 or 30. He don't care. It's all about his numbers because he don't give a shit about winning. He cares about his numbers. And then you got A.J. Owens out there going, I'm the number 1 guy. You saw it last year, him crying on the sidelines to the kid. How long before that dynamic? And will they do what Keith Byers said on this program? Will they play – Zander, for them to win a Super Bowl, they got to play championship football. You know what that means? Sharing the wealth.
I agree.
They have 2 guys that share the wealth. Now you add another guy and you got a $15 million tight end you don't use.
Boy, I'll tell you what, if what you just said, if what you just explained is true and that's how AJ would handle it, I would be very disappointed in him.
How is he not handling it?
And I get it, but he got paid another bag now. Dan, let me tell you this.
I don't think that matters to him.
Ready? Hey, Dan, I'm going to 10X your salary, but now I'm your co-host every day for 4 hours.
Welcome aboard.
I don't give a fuck what to do.
Hey, welcome aboard.
Yeah, exactly. Isn't there a human element there where you're just like,
oh, no,
man, I got $30 million for this.
Hey, welcome aboard.
Devontae or Saquon get a couple touches. Give him it.
Hey, Sills, I need you to go no way. Okay, I'm going to 10 up your salary.
Yeah, exactly.
Hey, Bob, I love you. Zander,
you're the greatest GM in sport.
Absolutely. Holy cow. So I got this guy here. Now I got Philly 500 that I'm going to have to deal with tomorrow on this crap. All right. I mean, Zander, where are we in the hit total right now? I want to get that number up to at least 250 today. Where are we?
Check it out. Let me check it out.
How far away?
138. We're slagging today.
Dang, come on, guys. Let's by the top of the hour at least get it to 200 so that we're kind of rolling into that 250 mode. Zander, B plus.
I'll take it.
Okay. I mean, by the way, you've really done a great job. And no shade on Jody and all, but really great stuff. I watch that show every morning. Birds 365. Farzy starts off our broadcast morning each and every single day here on JAKIB Monday through Friday. And then these guys go 2 hours and do a great job. John McMullen, by the way, I didn't tell you guys this publicly. You know, my daughter was graduating, and I'm like, you know, I couldn't help the guys out, but Zander and John destroyed it over that draft weekend.
Appreciate it.
And it was some of the best coverage, and I got a lot of my stuff from what those guys were covering, and I thought you guys really did a great job. Great stuff on that. So go back to our channel. You can rewatch a lot of that stuff, and some of the stuff turned out to be true and turned out to be good, except for that kid from Houston Christian. I don't know. Okay. I mean, we'll see. That's a Howie pick. I love the kid Keegan.
Yeah, but he's gonna have to learn to play right, Dan.
I'll ask you,
real quick before I get out of here, because you played defensive line, you played football at a very high level, which most people in this chat, they somehow forget that you were a tremendous football player next to an all-time Eagle great in Jerome Brown. But he played left guard his entire college career. He's never taken a snap on the right side. Like when I think about that, I'm like, okay, when I was young, I used to play basketball. Like my dad used to say, hey, go outside, take the ball with your left hand and shoot it like this 1,000 times a day until you're competent with the left hand. It takes time, right? Like,
well, watch this. When you come out of your stance, when you come out of your stance, from that side, you're over here. The other side, you got to use different feet. But where it'll help is Stoutland. Okay.
Yeah, Stoutland will help. I just think it'll take some time, but I do like him. I like him a lot, Dan. He's got that. He's drinking beers at the parade.
He's got a little Kelsey attitude in him, doesn't he?
Yeah, he does. He does a lot.
All right, folks, do me a favor. Hit the like button. Zander, great stuff. Keep it here on the National Football Show.
If you missed any of today's show on the JAKIB Media channel, listen to the podcast on your way home. Available on YouTube, Apple, and Spotify.